Alright, we starting this 2 driving 8, 2 standard driving 8Cs here. And this is what you call the joy of matching. I mean, everything in this amplifier was matched. Everything. The transformers, they are matched to a super low tolerance. The caps on top of the transformers, I don't give them no tolerance. If they don't equal the same exact number, I don't put them on there. I'm OCD when it comes to this stuff. But the only bad thing about it, matching these things takes a while. For example, I'm trying to make up my parts for my, this is an all metal clad build, by the way. And I'm trying to make up my parts for the output shunt cap, the tuning cap for the output of the 4 transistor section. This is how I normally do them in my all metal clad. Just dropped that, didn't I? Luckily it was on plastic down there. This is how I normally do it on an all metal clad build, and then I run a piece of the wire from there up to the relay or whatever. But this is going to be a little different. We're going to be using these pads here that I made with etching solution. They ain't the prettiest looking things, but they'll work. So I'm probably going to do it a little differently. I need to make series caps to do that. This is what it looks like before a build when you're matching. Like, for example, with these, with the 1 port, oh, excuse me, with the 1 port splitter and combiners, I only need 4. This is 2 4-pill sections, 1 splitter, 1 combiner. For example, with these type 61 core ferrite, I didn't just roll these up, you know. I had to make about 15 of these. I made about 15 of them and literally matched 4. I didn't have to actually match the 4, technically. Me being OCD to matching, I just need to match the outputs together and make sure the inputs are the same. But just to make everything roll together, I matched them all together. And basically I'm measuring from this point right here to this point right here. I'm just wanting to basically match with it wrapping around the core. Because you go to here, from here to here is going to be pretty much identical. So I just match one side. So yeah, it takes a lot more work. And a lot of times I'll have a lot of this already done. But now we're matching metals, matching the 120s. That's why I'm sitting them over here. This is 120, 122, 123. I'm hoping to get 10. I need 10. If I don't get 10, I'm in trouble. We'll be back when we get further along with this bad boy. Okay, I did picking at y'all. There's a little tease, that's all. I'm just playing around, y'all. This old gatekeeper out here around the northeast end of Georgia. And boy, we have a nice little machine right here, I'd have to say. Got one of my locals, A lot of y'all that's been with me for the last 10 or 11 years already know who I'm probably about to say. And I can't help myself, but I always say a different name than his actual name, but have to correct myself. Can y'all guess who I'm about to say this is for? That is correct, Mr. Muddick. I mean Mudduck, sorry. It's just I'm sure a lot of people are like, why do you always call him that? And then correct yourself and say Mudduck. Let's just say I cannot talk about that on camera. It's just what you call a local a local inside joke. Let's just put it that way. But anyway, I'd say every amplifier that I've built for him, which has been a lot of them, I cannot remember how far back, but ever since I did the very first all metal clad build, which was, I believe, the one driving 4 candy painted blue, beautiful blue from my buddy Lawnmower Man out in the sand pile. It was either that one or another 1x4 that I built for him personally, and then he ended up giving it to me for my birthday as a gift. It was one of those two, but ever since I did that, he has requested all metal clads. So he hit me up a good little while ago and said, "Hey man, I want me a C box, man. I want me a C box." I'm like, "Man, you don't want you no dang C." I'm just gonna tell you exactly how the conversation went. "Man, Mudduck, you don't need no dang C box, dude. Man, you ain't even got enough dang to dang run that thing in your mobile." "Oh yes I do, man. Yes I do." I'm like, "What the heck you got?" "I got 2 batteries in the back now." I mean, you ain't got nothing. Because pretty much at this point, Mudduck's been running. Well, he's got 3 vehicles, and he's got a gatekeeper amplifier in each of the 3 vehicles, but they're all a 4-pill or smaller. And he's been running a 2 driving 4, which is the only 2 driving 4 I've built, by the way, up to this point, which is an all metal clad 2x4 with 2-inch transformers. And I think that's kind of what's helped keep that amp running as long as it has, since he runs it pretty much every day for what, 6-7 years now. But that's as big as he's ever ran. So I was like, man, dang it, because what he said was he wanted an 8-pill C box. I said, "Man, you ain't got nothing big enough to run that in your mobile, dude." "Oh yeah, man, I ran up the D-rails, man. I ran up the D-rails and got me 2 batteries." I'm like, "Come over here and show it to me." So he rode on by. He only lived about 40 minutes down the road, 30, 40 minutes. He come by and he was telling the truth. He'd got him 2 big old batteries put in the back. I said, "Well, I'll be dang, man. So what you wanting?" He said, "I want a 2 driving 8, all metal clad." I said, "Hold on now. Hold on. All metal clad 2x8. I said, "Dude, I ain't got enough metals to do that, man." This was during the time that RF Parts had quit selling metals. Completely zip, no metals. I said, "I don't have enough, man. There's some other places I can get some metals at, but man," I tried to explain to him. For example, the 1000s right here. Okay, we got 4 1000s for the output transformers. I can't just go to ICA and buy 4 1000s. I mean, I know they sell their 1%ers. That's okay. Maybe I shouldn't use the 1000 as an example. Let's use the 120s right here, collector to ground. The 120s. So this is a 2x8. So we have 1, 2. Just count the pills. 10 total pills. We have 10 120s going from collector to ground. I can't just go to wherever I'm going to get my metals and buy 10 120s. That is not how it works, because this amplifier is not even going to be built unless I have enough capacitors, enough inductors, enough transformers to match. And I want them to be as identical can be. And it ain't going to happen. I said, "You can't just buy 10 120s and throw them on there. That's not my style. That's not what I do." He's like, "Well, what do you mean? What do you have to do?" I said, "For 120s, at least they're low enough. It's a lot easier to match 120s because they're a lower value. So normally it's not that hard to match them. I probably could get me about 20 to 25 120s and be able to get 10 matching ones out of them. Good chance. I said, but to be safe, I'd like to get about 25 or 30 120s to make sure I can get 10 that are exactly matching. It don't matter if they're a 118, it don't matter if they're a 122, 121, they need to match. It's just that simple. So we ran into bigger problems. I said, that's just one capacitor, Mudduck. You want to have all metal clads, you got to think about the tuning capacitors in each of the tuning sections. This and that, this and that. I thought he was going to just turn away from the build. But no, he put his dang knees into the dirt, his feet into the dirt, however you want to say it. And he put his money where his dang mouth is, man. And he bought the metals. And which was a good thing, because I get some extra metals out of the deal. So he spent a good chunk of change to get this box right here built with all metal clad. So this is, I'm doing all that talking just because of this. This is, up to this date of 2022, the biggest amplifier I have built with all metal clads. Now, it's about not to be. I've got a 12 pill back here that's going to be all metal clad, but it don't matter. That 12 pill is still not going to use the amount of metal clads that this used because of a driver section. Think about this. I got it right here at the end with my trusty, old school but very trusty MFJ analyzer, and hooked her on up to tune my pass-through, which I don't have to use an analyzer, but I like to use the analyzer first, and then I'll check it on the bird, and sometimes I may have to do a little, you know how it goes. If anybody watching this has tuned before. And it hit me. I'm like, hold on. I'm normally going to use a DM19 silver dip mica from this bar right here to ground for my pass-through. But he wants all metal clads. I mean, he's OCD about this. I said, I called him up. I said, we got a little problem here, man. He's like, what? I said, you think about the pass-through tune? We got 3 relays, man, because he's got to have his preamps. We got 3 relays here. That RF is flowing through all those 3 relays. I said, dude, how am I going to use a metal and make that look good? I mean, I have no ground plane up here. I could put a piece of copper right here and ground it to here. I said, all for a pass-through, man. I said, just let me use a silver dip mica. Mudduck, let me use a silver dip. Nah! No silver dip micas. He said, gatekeeper, no silver dip micas. I don't want the box done. That's what he said, dude. I said, you are one of the hardest people to deal with, Mudduck, but I'm going to make it happen for you. So I sat there and thought about it. How can I do that and make it look somewhat good? And that's how I did it. I guess you can see that's 40 picofarad. Took me a little small copper board, did that, and ran my wire up to the bar. And it did its trick, which we'll show now. Pass through. Oh. Well, hold on. That's a 1,000-watt slug. Oh, this should show it a little bit better. You can see it moving. Oh. I don't think it gets any better than that. Can y'all see any movement? I guess if you're looking with a microscope, you can see a tad bit of movement. But that right there is a very, very good pass-through. I think it was at 49.8 ohms when I looked at it with my other device, and zero reactance, of course. So it turned out very good. Very good pass through, man, passing through those 3 relays. But it throws in another little issue, which I'm not going to get deep with right now, but it throws another little issue in with all that. When you got the 2-pill section on by itself, now that pass-through tune with the 2-pill on, 8-pill off, that pass-through tune becomes part of the output. What do you do about that? It's called planning ahead when it comes to tuning. That's all I'm going to say about that. There's some, little pros and cons to staging, y'all. I know it makes things a little easier, as in giving you more options, but for the builder, there's definitely some cons, pros and cons. But we're focusing on the cons. There's some cons to the whole idea. But anyway, everything came together really well. Now, this is the first time of me using, you can call it a little RF board, little cut etched board. I actually went to the trouble of actually using etching solution to make these, and they still kind of look like somebody did them with a Dremel. That's because I try to do them a kind of a easy homebrew way and put electrical tape. Actually, let me show you. I think I still got my jig here. I do. So I made me a little jig here. Y'all see this? Damn. 2 razors. So if you can imagine, I took the board there and put black electrical tape over the whole board. Did this so I could hopefully get the same diameter, and went down it and cut, just eyeballed it, and pulled the black electrical tape, vinyl black electrical tape off of it. And then when I got done, I put that in the etching solution and ate away the copper. And it worked good. I saved that just in case I feel like I want to do it again, but it worked out pretty good. Probably been a lot faster doing it another way, but it worked out pretty good. But the main reason I wanted to use these boards right here, you'll notice this kind of reminded me of a skull cracker. That's what I'm trying to think of, a skull cracker. I was trying to think about that the other day. What is another builder that I've seen in the past that used these, and it was skull cracker. That's it. That's it. I was trying to remember that. I've seen a skull cracker would always use these type of boards. But the main reason I would use these is so I could have an easier way to mount these metals, to solder these metals into place. Since this is the first metal box that I believe I've done with more than one 4-pill section in it. So what I went ahead and did for the outputs, as you can see here, we've got 2 metals in series, which is equaling a 1,000-volt part. Okay, that's equaling a 1,000-volt part. I'm not going to give the exact value of it. I'm not saying I'm trying to keep the tune secret or anything, but y'all know old Gatekeeper teaches a lot and shares a lot. But there's a couple of way guys are doing these C's, but it ain't that hard to get them to work right. You just gotta look at them like this. They're the same exact transistor that a regular standard 2879 is, with 2 extra chips. Now, how do we even have these C's? I'm gonna be making a video that's gonna talk about that. It's just cool to know the history of where things come from and how they were thought about and all that good stuff. But basically, me and a buddy of mine was talking one day, and he actually came up with the idea. He said, I think we could fit 2 more chips in that device, because he had already took some tops off some fried regular HGs. He said, talk to your boy up there at HG about it. So I shot the idea over, and when it was all said and done, after we were already testing a couple, the first 2879Cs that we got our hands on, it was actually bubbling the glue. It was getting so hot the glue was starting to bubble and the top was sliding off. I'll never forget that. Man, them things was rocking though. We were very excited about them, very excited. I mean, them things were so crazy, man, that the 10 ohms would go up in smoke and the pills would still be working. It was crazy. So I think we've gotten about 2 or 3 revisions since then. I've got it all wrote down. But basically, since it was basically his idea, I said, my buddy up at HG said, what should we call these? So I got on the phone and said, look, man, it was pretty much your idea about this. I just relayed it on to my guy at HG. What should we call them? It's up to you. And he said, hey, man, let's call them 2879Cs for competition. Because I think these would be very neat to be able to use in a competition, man. This could be like more for the competition type guys out there. You really get more output out of your circuits, you know. So that's what he come up with, 2879Cs for competition. Is somebody here? Who's here? I thought I heard my buddy coming up. My painter's going to be riding up here, y'all, and I think I'm going to let y'all meet him. If he's okay with it. Hey, buddy. Hey, somebody here? Is somebody here? Somebody here, Jack? Is that you, Marty? All right, before I'll be right back, y'all, and I'm going to ask him permission. I'll be right back. All right, I got his permission, and here he is, y'all, the mystery guy that's been painting all my boxes. And when you see how ugly he is, it's going to blow your mind because he's made me look so beautiful, made my amps look so beautiful, and you wouldn't think something could come from such an ugly man like this. Here he is.
Hey, I'm Marty the drunk painter. He has to sober me up to paint, though.
But he gets the job done, don't you?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, that's my painter, y'all. That's the man that's made all my boxes look so dang good. But yeah, I was right in the middle of a video, so I'm going to press pause. So we'll be back, y'all. I'm going to hang out with old Marty here. And Jack. That's somebody new. I don't think y'all have met Jack yet, but I'll talk more about him later. So we'll be back to get more into this amplifier and do some output tests, and then we'll be done. So we'll be back. Alrighty, I am back, and I have already did another small modification I was needing to do anyway. So I went ahead and did it in between the last video clip and this video clip. And that's basically just adding this double pole, double throw relay that you see right there. And what that is going to allow is to handle the load of the fans. Because I don't even know if I already said this in the first clip, but he came by and switched the fans for these. And yeah, these things are going to be pushing a dramatic amount of air, but you're talking about 1.78 amps a fan, and I just did not want to trust that type of load, not really on these switches, because these are 30 amp DC switches. These are made primarily for mobile applications, for a vehicle or something. They're 12 volt 30 amp switches. So it ain't the switch I was worried about. It's more or less the thin wire that I have coming from the hot bus under the board that's coming up to the switches that I was more worried about the heat on that. So just to kind of kill two birds with one stone, as they say, he also added this relay in after the fact, which made me have to move this splitter right here. That's what's up with all this snake of the 316 coax. Because, you know, all the coax has to be absolutely identical length for each stage. And this was going to be going on a surfboard right here where the dang voltmeter's at. And you would have been able to pretty much have an equal for each 316. So that changed there in the middle, because old Mudduck came over here while I was building this and made these modifications to the case, which had to make me do a little bit more work. So that killed two birds with one stone. The voltmeter is on this relay, and it is going to come on with the 2-pill or the 8-pill switch and do no back feeding, thankfully, to those diodes. All right, so we're just going to go work power-wise, I still do not have a regulated power supply big enough for a project like this. It's still all iron core linear supplies in here. So we're going to slowly work up. Slowly work up. So I'm going to have to show the 2-pil section by itself later. So we're floating about 18 volts. I just turned on the flash for some reason. 18 volts, 18.1, and that one says 18.1. Okay. Jack, I'm gonna need you to move, buddy. Okay? Yep, y'all have not met this furry little fella here yet in my videos. I was blessed enough to meet a absolutely amazing woman. I already knew her. We went to high school together, but I got reacquainted with an absolutely amazing woman. And we got together, I guess, what, about 8-9 months ago now? And guess what? He came with her. So when I got her, I got him. So he's one of my new dogs. One of 2. The other one stays in the house. He's a little chihuahua. A little chihuahua. Named Peanut, with an alter personality we call Walnut when he gets crazy. You'll hear him sometimes in the background. But this is Jack. He comes out here and works with me. Can you guess why his name is Jack, y'all? You guessed right, because he's a Jack Russell. A long leg Jack Russell. All right, I need you to move, buddy. Okay? I need you to move. I'm doing a video. Get back there on your bed. Made a little bed back there so he can chill out here. He comes out here and works with me every day. Every day, because he ain't staying in that house by himself. So we're on the 100 amp. We got this thing on a 100 amp transformer on the medium tap. I'm surprised this don't bring it down and suck it completely dry, but that's because it doesn't have enough drive yet. We're on the bench radio. So we're only giving this thing 3 watts RMS drive, and she peaks up around, 16 to 18 peak. That's what the meter says. 2500 watt slug. This is PEP. Oh, so that's about 1200, almost 1300 watts RMS. Bottom scale, a little bit over 300 bird or so. Not much. And she is also dropping to 13.5. All right. Now we're just going to go over here and flip it to the high tap. We're floating at 20.9. I don't like to leave these switches on that high voltage as much because I know they ain't really made for it, so we're just going to kind of get in and turn it off. Let's see what the little extra gives us. 1500. About 400 bird. That's what it says. What was the drop of it? 13.5. Ain't that crazy? That's crazy, ain't it? So yeah, this thing needs a lot bigger power supply. It needs more drive. It needs a lot. But what the cool thing is, it's just on a 100 amp transformer on 13.5 volts. She's doing 1500 watts peak. Ain't that something? $28.79 my friends. Let's hook her up to the big one. We'll be back. Alright, I'm having an issue that I have never had before. I guess it's with the amount of current that this amp is pulling. I just audioed this thing with these, and we got a lot of smoke that just come up from the power cable. I just figured out that cable, and I noticed it's only doing like 1,000 watts. That cable is not clamping against that wire good enough. I'm going to have to change the way I'm doing this. That's not good enough. It ain't today. So I'm going to, just for now to get past this video, I'm going to press stop, and I'm going to go and clean up and rough up this a little bit, just so I can get past this video for now. But that is not good enough. because that thing is starving for current right now, and I knew, I could tell it was starving. I looked down and just noticed smoke coming up. The second that I looked down, I could see that this part of this cable right here was red. Yep. When you get into more high current applications, you got to make sure all your connections is right, man. Because if they ain't, you could have problems. I'm surprised it done it on the power, not the ground. I guess the ground is connecting good enough. But I'm going to clean both of them. We'll be back. I see what smoked. Look at this. There's a wire that goes from the bottom to the top of this. That is, I don't even know if I remember even noticing that. So that means the very bottom of this is only connected by that small wire. So it appears what happened is it was not making that good of a connection on the bottom. It took more of a load on the top, and you see what happened. Wow. Yeah. So scratch that off about cleaning these just to get through with this. No. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to have to make another. Let me think about this over dinner. I'll be back. Alright, I addressed the situation a little bit better. And just so I can get through this video, we went ahead and hammered them down to where the teeth are literally sticking into the wire. I ain't got enough time to spend about an hour or two connecting to new connectors on it right now, but I will between videos. I ain't never using them again. Alright, we got the Stickman radio hooked up now, so we're also on the 200 amp supply, which does have a lower float voltage than the high tap of that one over there. We're on the 18.5 float. Like I said, this is a 200 amp supply over here. Okay. This thing needs more drive still. You got to remember, these are C's. Okay. So we will probably see closer towards the max end once I go to the D-rail radio. Stickman radio. We'll see about the same peak as we were seeing before because we were on higher voltage then. It's about 700 bird, and I'll tell you, everything in this box is still running as cold as a cucumber. These things ain't even got nowhere near their saturation point yet. Alright, and that was, by the way, 14.2 in the voltage. Ooh, no, 15.2. That was 15.2. Alright, we'll hit the D-rail next, but in between that, we're going to have me some dinner. We'll be back. Alrighty. Like I said, I beat them things in. Let me make sure I got all the dust off my camera here. I don't want nothing to be blurry. Alright. Like I said, this is for temporary. I got the hammer beating them so them teeth are biting into the wire. So we're on the D-rail radio. It's still a single final Cobra 29. It's going to be injecting about 16 watts of RMS to the 2-pill section. Now keep in mind now, this is a staged amplifier, so you're always going to be able to get a little bit more out of this box if you're running an external driver, which I may play around with that too for a little bit. But the guy that's actually Mr. Mudduck, the one that's getting this box, he said, all I want to see is about 1,000 bird. If that thing can do 1,000 bird, I'm happy. Well, we all know these are C's. It can do a lot more than 1,000 bird. And I'm still not giving this thing is enough drive as it needs. I think to be safe about that, I would probably be best off hitting it with an external driver. But anyway, this is the D-rail Cobra 29. I'm about to grab the wrong mic. I done that twice. That's how you blow a funnel. 1,000-watt slug. Go right there at 1,000 watts in the corner. Go a little bit more than 1,500 watts peak. Now I'm trying out this this new DC ammeter flap on, and I just don't know if I trust it. But let's see. AC. Let's change that to DC. Let's see what we're pulling. If I can get this thing to stay for me. These things are almost. Alright, I'm just gonna do it like that. Go. I picked up the wrong mic again, y'all. See, I'm always used to grabbing this mic because that's my bench radio mic, and I hope that funnel ain't blown. I done keyed that thing 2 or 3 times. That's called muscle memory, y'all. It's hard to get away from it. It's about 53 amps on the carrier. About 128 amps. What voltage is that on? 18.8 float. Oh, God almighty alive. This is unbelievable. See, that's the volt drop from the cords not being good enough. Shit. God almighty, that son of a gun's hot. Shit, I didn't think it was going to be that damn hot. Excuse my language, y'all. I don't normally like to cuss on camera. God almighty. Reminds me of a video I seen not too long ago. It was actually a BBI video. I was taking a quick gander at. Somebody had told me to look at. He was using some plugs. I think he was testing some LiPo batteries out or something, but one of his plugs was literally incinerating on him on the ground side. It just brings me back to that memory. God dang, man. That's the problem. We got a volt drop because of these damn plugs. This thing's doing about 1,000 watts RMS on 13.5 volt. Wasn't the other power supply dropping to 13.5 also? That's the little voltmeter I got on that one. I know that thing's been beat up. It's been sitting over here for a while. Did you see what I just picked up? Gatekeeper. Let me go ahead and put this damn thing under here. I ain't keying that damn thing up again. Alright. That's 15. What did I say 13 right here for? No, that's 13. Wow. It's the plugs. Alright, I'm going to show y'all what's happening here. This right here is plugged up. I don't know if a lot of y'all know this or not, so I'm going to go ahead and just show it all right here. This is what power supply I'm running on. I know, y'all, this is an absolute disgrace to be using this beast right here as a bench. I mean, as a table. Putting my tools on it with magnets. I know it's pitiful. I know. But it is what it is, man. I bought this from a local of mine. It's a 16-pill base box is what it is. Kept popping a pill right and left, and I got kind of tired of it, and I just removed all the Toshibas out of it and used it for something, some local projects. And I was like, one of these days I'm going to get in here and rebuild this whole thing. And so since then, it's just been sitting right here, and it's made out of steel. That's why it's magnetized, as you can see. It's an Armadillo 16-pill base. So I've got this voltmeter right here is plugged all the way in the back. I don't think I can see this on camera because it's really dark, but this is connected directly to the filter caps in the back. So we have a volt drop of what it's actually pulling the power supply down to, 15.2. The box is saying 13.5 to 13.8. I just did a quick key. So we have a voltage drop because of these plugs right here of that much, about around 1.82 point whatever volts. I ain't gonna do the math right there in my hand. I ain't gonna try to. So I may need to take some time and fix this because we've got a voltage drop problem just because of those plugs. But we'll see. I'm showing this thing doing 1,000 bird, a little bit more than 1,500 peak. It still needs more. These transistors are nowhere near their saturation point. I would probably say they're maybe 50-60% if we're looking at a scale from 1 to 100%. Because you'll see these transistors, when they get close to that saturation point, if you're watching the input reflect on the front of the box, you'll see that input reflect begin to start lower and lower and lower. Because as they come into their saturation point, the impedance is changing on them. Just like the impedance, the impedance ratio of the transistors has to do with the voltage you're on, the frequency you're on, and all that. So I've noticed that about these particular transistors. Because I sit here and hold the key down on this thing for about 15 seconds, 20 seconds earlier with a constant audio, and I'm feeling around this box, and I mean, these things they're not even warming up. The transistors aren't even warming up. All metal clad, 2 standard 2879 HGs driving 8 2879Cs. A metal capacitor in every single part of the tuning circuit of this whole amplifier. So I don't know what I'm going to do from this point. I may go ahead and hook it up to the smaller supply and just show y'all the 2 transistor section by itself. But I'm such in a hurry here. I still got to get the fans, fan kit done, get the fans wired up. Got me a nice little board from Pride Electronics. A little fan board. I may use that. I hadn't used one yet. And I may just let that be it for this video. I've got a lot more C boxes coming after this. And but one thing is being done is them right there are about to be cut off. I'm about to get my cutters and just cut these damn things off. Probably go buy me some new clamps or just start using. Alrighty. Went ahead and got the fan kit done. That is a fan kit filter board / combo board from Pride Electronics. That's where these pill strips come from too. Once you use them, you can't let go of them. But anyway, oh my goodness, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I have no earthly idea how he's gonna run these fans in his mobile. The only thing I can think of is he's gonna have to have this amp all the way in the back. But the problem is there's no remote. It's pretty weird, but you can't run a remote jack with these type switches. There's lamps in here. It causes a little issue. I mean, you can do it, but you got to do some weird circuitry to make it happen. So I'm gonna have a weird guess. This is just a future guess here, a prediction that he is gonna have to downgrade these fans, or either get in here and add some big sandbar resistors to them to slow them down. Because, well, let me just show you. Quit talking about it. Let's just show you. Now I'm gonna have to make sure my hand grabs this quickly, because as soon as I turn this on, once this starts good, it will go up, blow itself down. Let me put my nice little vape down. You know, I quit smoking cigarettes. Now I'm puffing on the vapors, y'all. The vapors. Alright. Listen to this. I don't think he has any idea how loud these really are going to be. Oh yeah, with the airflow, it's pretty hard for this box to get hot. If he can handle this loudness somehow, yeah, this box should last him forever. If I was him with this type of speed, I would have put some foam covers to definitely make sure no junk gets in the box. Plus it'll quiet it down a little bit more. If y'all can even hear me right now. Yeah. Yeah. This is what I mean. See? Turn it down for a second. Since I ain't got nothing to hold that. Let's see how much these fans are pulling. .77 amps. Wow. They are 1.74 amps a piece. They really should be pulling more, but we are on 15.19 volts right now, so that's why it's not pulling all the way. So if this was on exactly 12 volts, it would probably be around 8 amps, 7.8, 8 amps, somewhere around there. Whew. It's pulling, son. Pulling. Anyway, let's go ahead and turn this off. Turn that soldering iron off too. So, let me show y'all how much the 2-pill is doing. Hitting it with the D-rail radio. Quite impressive. Quite impressive. Now, how am I going to do this? Since that thing is going to be blowing itself over. See if I can't cock it. Maybe about like that and it won't blow. Let's see. Alright. $1,000-watt slug RMS. 500-watt slug PEP. Look at that, off the scale. Off the scale. And that is staged. Wow. RMS. About 250. Is that 260? Let me see. About 250, 260 RMS. That's on 15 volts. Wow. Now I still got the amperage meter hooked up. Let's see how much amperage that's pulling. Sorry about that, had an interruption. Just for the heck of it, let's see what the driver is doing by itself, hitting it with the D-rail radio. Now keep in mind the D-rail radio is doing about, I think I got the carrier down to about a watt or two, and it's swinging a 16 watts RMS. And it appears to be doing about 50, 60 peak. Now keep in mind, you can't count the 6 amps that it's already pulling. You got to subtract that. And that's about 15 on the dead carrier, about 11 amps. About 33, 34. About 34 amps. Alright. So that's about 28 or so, somewhere around there. I'll tell you what, that driver section is doing wonderful to be a staged amp. You see, I did do something a little different I've never done before. I've got this 100 ohm right here on this own little board, this little island. I thought about doing that maybe from here on out. What that's going to do is give it a little bit of when this box is moving around in a mobile, I have seen when you solder this 100 ohm and take the leg up this high, those legs can break off. So this is going to give it more of a flexibility and keep that from happening. But there is the driver section. And I do still need to show the input reflect. And I need to make my mind up. I'm going to try to hit this thing with an external. What does that say? Full? There ain't no way that battery's full already. Sorry, I'm recharging a vape that ain't supposed to be recharged. Don't let them fool y'all. All them vapes they sell these days that are throwaways have lithium-ion batteries in them. I just don't see how that one's already charged. Just started it. But anyway, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna try to hook up an external driver or not, because I'll be honest with you, the only thing I got up there is two 1446s, and even though it will do a little bit more with an external driver, I don't see those 1446s making this do more than it was already doing. Basically what you're looking for is about this right here. On the max end, you're looking at about 400, this is for C's, 2879 C's. You're looking at 300 to 400 bird per 2 devices. So that's 800 for 4. Okay. This is, we're talking about max end. So I guess that battery is charged. I don't know how. It only took 3-4 minutes. So we're just talking, like we're saying, we're talking about absolute max end. So you're saying 1600 for an 8-bill. I would say, just to be safe and more nominal, 12 to 1400 RMS. And peak wise, that's just something we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. This right here so far is the biggest C box I've personally done. But me and Mr. Danny 123, we started testing them at the same time, because me and him were the very first ones to get these C's for testing. And since I was in the situation that I was in, very backed up, 3-4 years backed up, I didn't get to do a lot of testing with them like I really wanted to. So he got to go ahead and move on forward with that. And I tell you what, he mastered the C's, that's for sure. So I'm just going to kind of scan around one more time just so everybody can see. Oh, I almost forgot. I want to count and write down how many metal clads is in this box, so I can know if I ever beat that record. I need to know. I've already got the tune wrote down here. I always write, this is my book of tunes. I always write down my tunes in this book for reference. Alright. Metal Clads. Would you quit smelling me, son? I'm just going to say Metal Cats. Alright. Let's count. Let's use this for the plastic. Let's just start from here and go back. I'm going to do some fine tuning on the input. So we've got 2, as you can see, on the input of each 4-pill section to bring that down to 50 ohms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, okay, so that's 12 on each 4-pill section. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, so we can go ahead and say 12, 24. This is the pass-through tune, 24, 25. These are 2 right here. It's a parallel. 26, 27. 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. That appears to be it. 33. Alright, just real quick, because I hadn't showed the input reflect yet. These fans are so loud, you'll just have to bear with me. Let me lay this over so it don't blow down. Alright. 5-watt slug. Reverse. Alright, that's on the 2-pill section by itself, alright? Alright, here's everything. It isn't too much difference, so. Hardly no difference whatsoever. Alright. Let's check the 8-pill section by itself, which ain't gonna be much to look at. Alright. Of course, that ain't hitting it with a driver, but the input on both are pretty dang low. That's a 5-watt slug. That's what you want to see. You can't always get them absolutely perfect, but as long as they're good and low. Alright, let's put this top on here. I may play around with another driver or whatever. This I have still not showed this box at its peak, by no means. I still haven't changed my plugs down there either. I need to do it. It's got to be done. I might as well try to do it now. The only thing though is I'm going to have to literally move this. It's going to take a little bit because I haven't had this moved in about a year or 2. So I mean, these cables have just been sitting here eroding, etc. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of work to do that, which I really don't have time to do right now. But I really would love to show this box working at its maximum, like I like to show on all my videos. Like I say, it's just kind of like a dyno test of a vehicle's horsepower. We want to show the maximum that we can of the amp, which it isn't needed. It's just fun to do. Alright, we'll be back. At the very least, we'll be back to show the top on and all that good stuff. Sweet. These are the Texas Star ones too, man. Why does it let me record longer videos with you and nobody else? I don't understand that. Man, that preamp works good. Wow. I'm on the dipole too. How about that 1111111, Mr. Gatekeeper Georgia 1111. Works great, man. All right, I got it just soldered like that. I'm gonna go ahead and put it and make it look neat.
Audio, 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 audio. Audio, 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 audio.